stoked for today's guest. It's someone I've had on before. It's someone that you've all loved, just looking at the stats from her particular conversation we had 2 years ago now. It's wild. I've been doing this podcast published for almost 2 years, but I started working on them in January, February of 2023. It's apparently 2025. This is wild to me. But she's back because there's something that we talked about that she was working hard on and it was happening and it didn't seem like it would ever happen. And suddenly it has happened. So she's made a big announcement. I'm so stoked for her. I've known her for many years and she's been talking about this for far before I met her. And it's something that I aspire to do as well. She's published a book, a photo book. I'm so stinking proud and happy for her. Proud, I had nothing to do with it, but yeah, as someone who also really, really aspires to do this, I get tears in my eyes thinking that it's finally done for her. Here it is, it's out there. So I brought her on the podcast today because I just wanted to revel in her accomplishment and I want to hear all about it. And I hope you do too, even if you've never ever considered creating a photo book. This conversation is really going to be, I presume, because I always record these before I actually talk to the guests. I'm guessing that this is going to be about perseverance and sticking to your vision. And this is something that I talk at length about in Storyteller School. And I think it's something that we kind of skip over as creatives. We all inherently have a vision and a idea for our life. Even if we haven't consciously acknowledged it, we do. And you can consciously acknowledge it through your art. And that is what this beautiful woman has done. So without further ado, I bring to you Miss Kirsten Lewis.
I forget. There's no video, right?
There is video.
Hold on.
It's funny, but just a second, because I was like, oh my God, I have bedhead. And then I look at you, I'm like, we both have bedhead. So let's just record the video.
The thing is, I've been up well, actually I've been up all night because I average at least once a week right now, an all-nighter to try and get work done.
Yeah.
And so that's maybe why I look like, who's that guy from Back to the Future? Hold on.
From Back to the Future.
Remember? Doc? Yeah, I gotta get a hat. I don't know what's going on with my body. Probably it's because of all the intense stress I've been under, but and menopause, if that's what I've got. But I never had acne ever.
Oh yeah, not
I don't think I had a single zit in my high school years. I'm not kidding. I was really lucky. And my face is I'm never broken out like this ever in my life. And I'm 40, I'm gonna be 48. This is the time.
Yeah. Well, you've never published a book before.
True.
Maybe that's what comes along with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll just cover that up. There we go. Fine. We're good.
Look good in a toque.
Thanks. I wear toots a lot. Is that what they're called? Hats.
Toque with a Q.
Toque. You saw my first attempt at a beanie, right? That I crocheted.
I don't think so.
What? You didn't? I'll just show you the photo.
People, if
you're so excited, you can see the progress. I have it on my Facebook, but one of my friends online, she inspires me so much because she's this incredible knitter, right? Tony. So I was like, I've never been a good knitter. If you screw up once, you got to pull it all out. I get confused.
Oh, God.
Slow. Versus Jenna, she can make a sweater in 17 minutes and all beautiful cable knit and whatever. So I was like, I just need something to do, even if it's a 30-minute break. I'm gonna try crochet. And it's so much easier. And what Jenna said is you're either one or the other. You either have the handhold for crochet or whatever. So I
Jenna
got
it. You mean, in case people are curious.
Yeah. So I got the hang of it right away. And so I messaged Tony, or I posted on it the beginning of my journey with making this beanie. And she did say, girl, You might want to scale down on the crochet hook because that's really big yarn. And I don't know, I've never done it before. I was like, okay, well, I'll like keep you up to send this. I was like, I finished.
Oh my God. That looks okay. So people who aren't watching the YouTube video, it looks like a horror mask. Like
Or
what the murderer in a horror movie would be wearing.
or Fat Albert. Did you ever watch Fat Albert? The guy from somebody, I think somebody said that. Wait, the guy from Fat Albert. Wait, hold on. This guy.
Yes, yeah, or that.
I was like, so we're
How
gonna
did
make
I
that a
do?
bag and then we're gonna try again.
I cannot like crocheting and knitting. Oh my God, it makes my brain hurt. Like
Oh, it does.
oh
Okay.
God, I could not do it. I could not do it.
Feeling. Yeah.
No.
I don't like knitting, but I am enjoying the crocheting. Like I got the hang of it right away.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, clearly I did, but
No, you didn't, Kirsten. No, you didn't.
so Olive, Mitch's youngest, she had done some crocheting with her mom. So I was like, I had to help her, but um, she has much smaller yarn. And as I'm making, she's like, "Is that gonna be too big for you?" And she's 8, and I'm like, "Nah, it'll be fine."
It's too big. She's right. I think at this point, when you're first starting photography and you're just kind of waiting for feedback from anybody,
Yeah.
that's where you're at with your crocheting.
Oh, Tony was so funny. She was like, "Girl."
Oh my God.
I'll try again. I'll try
So why
again.
are you trying a new thing in the midst of all of this
I mean,
other?
because I needed to find something.
Yeah.
Uh, I think like I wanted like to learn something, but that's
Yeah.
something that I could sit down with because my inclination is even if like we have a movie on or we're gonna watch a show, my inclination is to either work on my phone or
Yeah.
work on the laptop. Like I hate this
Can't
about myself.
you
It's
can't do
just
that. You gotta stop.
no matter what financial position I've been in for the
Yeah.
last I've been working since I've had a job since I was 15. I'm going to be 48. That's a
Yeah.
long time.
That's a
33
lot
years.
of working.
I've always been like this. And I
Mhm.
wonder if some of it is like for sure ADHD
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
the hyperfixation.
Yeah.
Because I actually like in this case, I loathe it and I love it. Like I like my work, but this is
Yeah.
how I can work all the way through the night now. And like I'm reading about some other reasons why I'm able to do that. And maybe coffee and Adderall has something to do with that.
Maybe.
But more than that is menopause. Like
Yeah.
if
Well, how
that's
is
what I'm
that
going,
changing things? How like
that's fun. I want you
yeah.
to just think of this concept for a minute. I made a proactive choice
Uh-huh.
to have a small child and go through, and now I have 3 part-time
Yeah.
while going through menopause. What? Why would I do that?
Wait a minute. You had how old is Birdie? Birdie's like
8. She's
8?
8. We have 2
Yeah.
8-year-olds and a 12-year-old. Most normal, smart people figure that out that that's a really bad idea and go through
No.
menopause like while their kids are getting married. Like
I know
not,
so many people who've had kids over the age of 40. My
yeah.
mom is one of them. Like
So I
it
was
happens a lot.
39. Yeah. The
It
thing
happens a lot.
is, I'm pretty early to be doing this. This is an interesting conversation. Like if you keep this in
Well,
the podcast, but like whatever.
it's all part of life because it's affecting your book.
Oh, for sure. I'm on month 5 with no period. And now I'm at the point where if I think I'm getting my period, I get really pissed because they say like you have to go a full 12 months before
Yeah.
you're done. And this
Yeah.
is hell. Although then I was reminded that like all these symptoms might like hang around after.
Yeah.
Uh, but like I don't want to start over. Like I don't want to be like, whoops, there's my period 8 months
Yeah.
later. Like I got to start all over again. So
All over again before what?
before I would be officially menopause. You know what I mean? So it could
Oh,
prolong all these symptoms of like as the body is getting basically what's happening is my body is getting used to less and less hormones.
yes.
However, there's a kink in all of this right now.
Uh-huh.
Did you happen to watch the latest thing that lost me 400 followers on Instagram?
No, what did you do? I love these stories. Instagram sucks, by the way.
And you know
But
what? I'm totally happy about it because I have just decided I am a shit show and I'm funny. And
yeah,
that is part, and like
that's part
there's
of
all
your
these
charm.
parts of me, and it's part of my work and my book. And
Yeah.
I want people to want my book because of me. Like
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
me. It's a labor of love with me, and it's a collaboration with all these amazing people I've met and haven't met.
Hmm.
And so I've like reached this point where, and I did talk to Winnie, like Winnie's been helping me. I don't know if you have show notes, but I'll give that. Like she's amazing. Like
Winnie Carter. Yeah.
yeah, she's shifted over to like social media strategy, and
Yeah.
she like had a hard talk with me. It was like my Christmas gift.
Uh-huh.
And I resolved to, I've been, man, I'm going a lot of directions.
I'm with you.
Because of things that happened in the industry 5 years ago,
Yeah.
I like like a turtle, like retracted in, and I've never done that before in my whole
Hmm.
life. Like in my whole life, I've been told I'm weird, I'm inappropriate, and I've always been fairly okay with that.
Hmm.
But the trauma of that 5 years ago, like fractured me. I'm worried a little bit permanently.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming victim or anything. It's just like that's what happened. And I'm still working through that.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing right now and like just deciding to do this and move forward is a bit scary because like I'm just so afraid I'm gonna offend
Yeah.
people, hurt people, whatever, I'm gonna say the wrong thing. People just aren't
Yeah.
gonna like me anymore. And Winnie's like, fuck it, like just do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Of
And
course,
so
because some people will love you more, and the people that were like, I mean, like, fuck them, they're gone. It's the best. It's the best way to clear out your closet.
I do believe that. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm leaning more into that. But me, like I'm not 48. Like I just want to say that. Like I am, but
Wait a minute. Yeah.
I really am a 12-year-old boy. Like I don't think I'm ever going to grow out of that. And I
Don't.
am saying a boy. Like it's not that I identified as being a boy when I was a kid, but like I've always been like when it comes to stereotypical stuff, and maybe that's like a thing I have to confront also is like that lack of stereotype. But
Yeah.
I am an idiot. Like
No.
in my real life, I'm just an idiot. Like I'm so stupid. So, anyways, Molly and I, because this is
But
what
wait
you
a
do.
minute. Hold on. What did you do to lose 400 followers?
That's what I'm going to tell you.
Okay. All right.
So, as one, for those that haven't been like getting closer to 50 yet, that
It's
whole
coming, by the way.
midlife crisis is a real thing.
No, it's a midlife awakening.
Okay, great. But for me, it's a crisis because my face and my skin has aged so
Yeah.
much in
Yeah.
2 years. And I
Yeah.
think some of that is stress, but someone told me, and I looked into it a little bit, that you don't age at the same rate
No, it
full life.
speeds up in your
And
40s.
apparently I'm in that stage and I've
Yeah.
lost 20 pounds in the last 6 months. So that like doesn't
Yeah.
help. But
Yeah.
so it's my crisis when I look in the mirror, I'm like, fuck. Like I just don't I'm like, Mom, what are you doing in my bathroom? My grandma. Like I looked down at my hands and I'm like, Jesus. Anyways,
Yeah. Yeah, I
so
feel
what
that.
does one do when one is feeling that? One goes and pierces not one, but two parts of my body.
I was gonna ask if you got a couple of extra nose
Yeah, so
rings.
I've had this for 30 years.
Yeah.
I was 18 before anybody was really like regularly body piercing. And so Molly was like, I want to get a septum ring. I was like, well, I want to do that too. We'll just go
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And I prefer symmetry. So I
Yeah.
was like, well, I can't have this and this. So I'm going to
Yeah.
have to get, anyways.
Please tell me you also got your clit.
What? No,
Oh.
no, I didn't. No. I, aging impacts all that region also. I don't think I should opt to disturb it more than it already is with the potential for more damage. Like I don't think that's a good idea.
What other place did you get pierced then? I
No,
thought
no, here.
this conversation was definitely going in that direction.
No, no. Here and here, right? Like
Okay, just those
two.
two.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Are you sure?
yeah, yes. I swear to God, I would tell you. But they used a stud, and I've known my like all my piercings, they don't do well with studs. Like for whatever reason, it like causes infection. It just needs air to go through. And so I've had it for like, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks. And I developed an infection and I couldn't take care of it. Like I couldn't clear it up. And I was like, this thing's got to come out. Like
Yeah.
it's healed up enough where I can take this out and put a hoop in.
Yeah.
You don't really have any. Didn't you used to have a septum? No.
No, I had a labret for a while. And
Okay.
no, I don't love, no, I get infections really easy as well. So it's funny when I got my labret pierced, my mom said,
What does it look
she
like a
said,
button?
this is the single most disappointing thing you've ever done.
Jeez. Well,
Like, well, I guess is that you're
in
welcome.
retrospect, as a parent, if that is the single most disappointing thing, good Lord, I could rail off a dozen things I did by the time I was 9, right?
I
That
know.
is
Well, she
worse.
has no idea is the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I was like, I'm taking this thing out by myself, but it doesn't just come out like a regular piercing, right? They're threadless, and I've never dealt with threadless. And so if you go to my Instagram, you can I know you will laugh. Like I think it's really funny. Apparently it's traumatizing to many people. I didn't see it, but I like experienced it.
Yeah.
I used metal hand tools, several different types to
try and get it out. I love this shit. Like I love watching like medical talk. I think it's called medical talk on Instagram, like the grossest stuff. I love it.
I had pliers up. At some point, I'd try and use wire cutters and cut it off. That didn't work. I like hurt myself several times. I started bleeding. And
well, it looks great.
Yeah, so I did it, like, and it's getting healing. So yeah. But I put that out there because, and like at the end, I was like, if this brings a pause to everything else in the world, whether it's PTSD or not, like to get your mind off of all the horrible things happening right now and like start to confront what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to live into like the book now. It's like confronting like this need to like hide the messy, ridiculous,
fuck that.
best parts of you. Like I just have to stop doing it.
Totally
I think
agree.
it's what really led to the climatic depression that I reached because I have been hiding for so many years, and it's not in my nature to do that. It's in my nature to make myself uncomfortable and everyone around me uncomfortable, like not in a purposeful way, but yeah, like since I was little, like just kind of being myself, and I haven't been. So now I'm just going full force, and apparently it's gonna like traumatize some people.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we all have to know our own boundaries, right? Like it's not your fault that someone else can't handle you taking a nose ring out of your nose. Like, yeah. I think there's
so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to myself. This is what I don't know if I put it in there. No, I don't think I put it in. I cut it out, but it is really, I do really talk to myself regularly the way I do.
Some people don't do that.
I know. And some
everybody
people don't
did.
have
I talk to myself
dialogue.
constantly.
I know.
Like, some people have quiet up there.
Susan Stripling, I think, has quiet up there, and I'm fascinated with it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember when she shared that. I was like, whoa, that is amazing. Do you know how much, I don't have a lot of money, but like, do you know how much money I would give to just do one day of no dialogue in my head?
Well, you know what's funny is the only time that I ever noticed that I had the dialogue, like I'm literally talking to myself out loud as I'm like walking the dog. And the first time I ran 55 kilometers, it stopped
Oh,
at like
huh.
48 kilometers. It was funny. I was running. I'm like, oh my God, it's quiet. Like it was
Yeah.
just quiet. All I could hear
Whoa.
was my foot. And I'm like, I'm not talking. Like there's nothing happening up there. It was
Mhm.
so pleasant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's never happened to me ever.
Well, you have to run 55 kilometers. It might
I mean,
help.
I even wake up in the middle of the night at least 4 or 5 times during the night, and I wake up thinking about things. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't ever shut off.
Yeah. Immediately.
I've told people lately that like my lifelong dream is to be bored. And I'm like joking and I'm serious. Like I'm dreaming of like just having a day of being bored. And
Hmm.
I don't see that happening anytime in the near future.
Have you ever done like a sensory deprivation room?
No, I'm pretty sure I'm not in a mental capacity to do that. Like that could just push me over the edge. Like
Or that's exactly where you need to go.
I have real intense claustrophobia, and I
Mm.
just had to have an MRI done, and I had to do a lot of self talk, and I
Yeah.
couldn't open my eyes the entire time, and I couldn't think about what I was in,
Yeah.
because the minute I started to, even though I wasn't looking, I would feel a little bit of panic.
Yeah. I've been in multiple MRIs. This one time I used to do medical experiments when I was in university.
To
And
make for money.
yeah, you got paid to do them.
Whoa.
And there was one where it was a drug for I think it was for ADHD actually. Yeah, or bipolar disorder. Um,
Okay.
and it was meant to balance out the highs. And so they give you speed for a couple of weeks, and then you do these like you do a whole bunch of tests in the MRI so they can see how your brain behaves. But I
Okay.
misunderstood the experiment, and I thought that you, I thought that like, I thought speed was the test control. So like I didn't realize speed was the control. Like you would actually be getting speed. I thought that that blind placebo or like blind the double blind was that you might get it.
Yeah.
And you
Whoopsie.
had to do these tests like really early in the morning. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and they put you in the like give you the drug, and I was like, maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. They put you into the MRI, and like you're sort of sleeping, and also like it's weird, right? Because you're in there and it's like a jackhammer. If anybody's ever had an MRI, it is.
They give you headphones, so that like soundproof
Yeah,
headphones.
yeah, it's like it does sound like there's a jackhammer
Mhm.
inside your head. And, and I kind of came to, I'm like, I did not get the placebo. It's like so high, like immediately high. Like I hit my head on the MRI and they had to
Oh,
take me out.
shit.
And they're like,
Oh my God, it's
you know what?
amazing.
And subsequently, I really, I that started my like my, I did speed a lot thereafter. It was really
Oh,
fun.
nice.
It was
Like
a
I like it.
surprise.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God.
Anyways, I'm
Oh
sorry
God.
that things have been challenging.
Yeah, it's been real bad like the
Yeah,
last year. Mm.
yeah,
And now my health is like it's impacted my health, so I've got all this other stuff going on. So, yeah, well that's the interesting thing. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm going through menopause. But
yeah,
when recording that video,
yeah.
when I was editing it last night, I stopped it, rewound it, went back. And this, I'm trying to think what I'm, no, it's this one. My
Mhm.
eye is bulging. No, for real. And like it's really exaggerated in the video.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, I went because I wear contacts and glasses, so you have to go every year to get a new prescription. And that's just so that I think it's so optometrists can stay in business. Like they force you like your
Yes, every two
prescription.
years you have to go.
But
I
she
remember.
said, I remember 2 years ago, she said in my appointment, she goes, huh, I'm noticing your eye is bulging a little.
Oh,
And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah. And I have noticed that more recently in the last like 3 or 4 years, really like this asymmetry with my whole face, and one
mhm.
eye is much more pronounced than the other. And she's like, I need you to go through photos like throughout the last 10 years and see if it was always like this. And it hasn't been. I haven't circled back or checked in on it. I got a little nervous last night, and I've got some other, I've got some other stuff going on, and we're still in the process of figuring it out. And like, I think there is another issue, but now I basically have all the symptoms for Graves' disease, which is a autoimmune. It's like a hypothyroid thing, which causes the bulging of the eye. So I have so it might not be menopause. That's what I was trying to say. I'm pretty sure it is, but a hypothyroidism mimics menopause, because I am a little young to like all of a sudden have no period, but everyone's
it's 45 to 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right.
I didn't get my period until I was almost 17.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a very small window of time in comparison. Like I didn't menstruate. I don't know. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like you get 100 periods, and if you didn't start your periods until you're 17, you still get 100. I don't know if it's like that. It's apparently like that for our heart.
Wait, what?
There's something like, I don't know, I forget the number. I learned about this in physiology. The average human heart has like, I'm going to say this wrong, but I'm going to say 30 million beats.
Like an expiration date.
Well, it has an expiration number. Whoa. And that's why people who are really fit tend to live longer, because your heart rate is lower for longer in your life.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So people that do a lot of cocaine are fucked.
Yeah. They die. They're using it up. The number of beats.
So glad that I never touched that. But now I'm on Adderall. So maybe like that's.
Aren't they similar?
Huh?
Aren't they similar?
I think Adderall technically is closer to methamphetamine, right?
Okay. Yeah. But it's like stimulants that help people with ADHD, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have a heart attack if I had any of those things.
Yeah. Well, like in the MRI.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I used up, because it did speed a lot after that. So I think I used up all my heartbeats. So if I even have coffee now, my heart is like, listen, we've only got so many squeezes left.
I go to your house and you have a calendar and like flash marks, right? Every day. Oh my God. Wait, can you wear things that track your heartbeat all day and tell you how many beats?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Jesus. I don't want that. Like,
no,
terrible idea.
That would be good for your brain.
This is a great talk about Unsupervised, by the way.
It is. Okay. So you have a book coming out. Well, I think it's the thing that's more interesting for me. Like, people who listen to this podcast, I think they're more interested in the conversation with the artists than they are. I know they are necessarily in like, hey, how'd you do this? And what are you doing? And all of that sort of stuff, because that information is available everywhere. And that's just like this scratching the surface. And truthfully, that's not what matters. What matters is how and why even more than how, it's why you make what you make. So you've been working on this for 14 years. Did you know 14 years ago that you were going to be making a book?
No, but about 2 years in, like, about, I'd say once I had like 30 or 40 sessions under my belt, I was like, I think there's a book here.
Yeah.
And then like 8 years ago, 8 years ago, I was sure that I had an edit. I was like, but here's the thing, like I didn't have a clear artist statement. It was just going to be like, this is what families look like in their real life. And that was the extent of it. And it was a color book. And I looked at it and I reviewed it on my own, and I started reflecting. I was like, I cannot put this book out. I even like had people, like I had found a printer I was going to use. I found, even if I had in my mind, I was like, well, if I sell a lot, I can even like personally get a distributor and all that. I had looked into all that, and I was just going to self-publish. And I pre-sold like 20 books, I think. And I had to write them and be like, sorry, no, this isn't ready. And I just was talking to the Mans yesterday. but this is true. I just reached out to, I've kept their names for 8 years. I just reached out 2 days ago and I was like, make sure you don't buy a book, like another one, because I'm sending you one, and I'm sending them all a really special version of it. And they're going to have a special spot on the new technology, thanking each of them for like believing in me 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But I just, as I was reflecting on the pages, I mean, they were all good photos, but I was not like accurately representing what the diverse world that we live in, or even the diverse country we live in. It was very white. It was very middle upper class. It was, yeah, all people that looked like themselves. And I'm not just talking racially. I'm talking, I didn't have a lot of religious diversity. I didn't have a lot of cultural diversity. I didn't have even when it comes to like ableism, there just wasn't enough. And I, in that moment when I made that decision, I committed to myself to work with integrity, to work hard, to not exploit anybody, and not put the book out until I was absolutely sure that I was doing right by the world that I share with everybody else, and that I was fairly and honestly and with sincerity, like representing a diverse, beautiful collective of parents and kids. Does that make sense?
How did you notice that? Because lots of people don't notice.
Trying to think 8 years ago, like I've been pretty active with social justice since I was young. I was pretty young. I was conscientious of my own biases and confronting those pretty early on, like in high school, and always needing work, including now. But it's always been like kind of like there for me as long as I can remember, and I've just committed to getting better and becoming better until I die. And I'm trying to think what was going on 8 years ago.
2016.
There wasn't, like, it was before COVID, it was before
It was
George Floyd.
2016.
2016. So yeah,
That was pretty pinnacle for anybody who had any amount of self-awareness, that they were
oh
not
wait,
acknowledged.
yes, because that was when Trump got in office. So that's probably why.
Yeah.
With, for me, rhetoric that was being put out there, yeah, which was, I mean, it was leading to, it was going to explode, which it needed to. But that's probably why. Yeah, because then remember he mocked the disabled press member, and yeah, he was activating and going after every marginalized group, every group that wasn't white male or white Christian male, he was going after.
Yeah.
So that's probably why. Probably why.
Are you sending him a book to thank him?
No, but I am sending a book to somebody else to thank them for kind of not being very kind. But and in some way, there's even like lessons and goodness that comes out of people that that trigger you, that activate you, that anger you, that like, what do you choose to do with that?
Yeah. And being angry about it is not the best choice.
No. So 8 years ago, I had that. So that makes sense now. We're tracking that 2016. And then I signed up for 12 portfolio reviews here in Denver. So that would have been 2018. And there was one reviewer in particular who was a publisher, and I was really excited to meet with him. But I met with like 12 people. the majority of my reviews did not go in my favor. Like, a few of them did. Ones that really like, actually the ones that I cared most about getting feedback from, but a lot of reviewers did not like my work. And
Where
this,
do you find these reviewers? Side note, just as
I'm being careful about what I'm sharing about the event because I'm not looking to dox this person. I do want to share my story because I think it's important. There's a lesson in that. I don't know if this guy had just had a heartbreak. I don't know if someone was sick in his family. I don't know if he just had really bad diarrhea. I don't really know what his problem was. It is the single worst professional experience of my life.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was awful. And at that point, I was not only used to critiquing people and being accountable for that, not just within my business, but I had been working for under other people, mentoring and critiquing and being checked and learning how to do it well. And always like not leading with ego and all the things, whatever. It was awful. Like, I paid $300 for 30 minutes. I think that's how much it was. And I was really excited to show him my work. I have pretty thick skin. I welcome, especially with my work, hard critique. I remember like one of my longer term mentors, when he first looked at Unsupervised and put it on the wall, he was like, "You're not a photographer." And like, for real. And I had been working as a photographer for like 12 years. And he just said, "You're not a photographer." He's like, you're like an exceptional picture maker, but you're not a photographer." I think that happened in 2017. So I think it was like three big things. That like 2016, I decided I'm being blind and very privileged in my perspective. And I need to work harder if I'm going to put out a book about family. And then I think that's when, and then with my mentor, he really pushed me to shift. Even like just how my mindset with work. And then I had the horrible critique where he was like, this, I don't even see a good photo in here. Like, I think it was like, I maybe brought 20 or 30 images. He goes, "This is all a white girl's perspective. There's no substance to any of this work. You're wasting my time. You should find something else to do. I would definitely give up on this project." And I was like, fuck, like, I even I inquired. I'm like, "I'm totally hearing you. Like, are there things like, feedback, constructive feedback in your experience being a publisher and a photographer, like that you could share that I'd be really appreciative?" And he's like, "I don't want to waste my time with you. And in fact, we still have 15 minutes. I have nothing more to say to you. We can just sit here." And I was like, it was awful. Like, I'm not exaggerating actually any of that. I wish I had written everything down when it happened because I was in shock. When I say it was the single worst professional experience of my life, I'm not exaggerating. And I remember it was silent for like 2 minutes. And he looks at me and goes, "Even if you did put this book out, how many books do you think you could even sell?" And at that point, I think I had like 17,000 or 18,000 followers on social media. So I was like, well, I mean, I think I could at least sell 200. And he started laughing.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, "There's no," and he was swearing. He was like, I mean, I swear, but like he was doing it like in a aggressive way. He's like, "There's no fucking way you will ever sell 200 copies of anything. And I'll bet you $1." And I was like,
Did you bet him?
okay.
Please tell me you bet him. I
bet him $1.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Yeah. What?
He's going to be here next month doing critiques. And I'm going back and forth if I want to go and pay and sit across from him and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Not an aggressive one, not antagonistic one. I'm almost curious to like not say anything and just have you a dummy.
Yeah.
And just see what he says.
Yeah.
but I do want my dollar.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, and this is an interesting perspective as well, because this is just ego for both of you. This is his ego thinking that a white girl's perspective. Come on, let me guess. He's a middle-aged white guy that said this to you.
I'm not going to share any of
So, like, something was clearly going on in his brain to think that he, well, no, I think oftentimes people who do critiques like that, they're not about how people feel. Like, that's not what they're meant to be. They're meant to be a critique of your work.
yeah.
But the audacity that he was angered by it, that he was getting emotional, that
He was really mad.
yeah. So that says more about him than it does about your work, right? And that's where
Yeah.
I would never trust someone like that. Someone who got mad at me for thinking that my work was worthy. Like, this is all just fucking people's opinions regardless. I don't care how many books you've reviewed. It's still your opinion. And I could go down three tables down and that person is going to love this. So is it worth your time? Is it actually worth because time is finite and we don't have much of it. What is it worth to you to have another
There's part of me that wants to sit across from him and hold him accountable in a kind way. Be like, hey, I want to let you know, like, this was my experience. And it did help propel me to have a goal.
Yeah.
Like, it has been in my mind, a goal.
Yeah.
And I do work like that. It's like, there is ego there. And I'm someone where I have no interest in competing against other people, but I definitely compete against myself for sure.
Yeah.
And I really don't I'm trying to think of the very few times, even in my life, that I've been in a board game, or like I wasn't really an athlete. Like, it's not, I enjoy it, but like, I don't get charged by it. I don't get mad, except for one time. I do remember my ex, Andy, he and I never fought. I don't know what was going on, but we were playing tennis. And it wasn't the fact that I was losing. It was the fact that it was like he was heating up a very long knife and just stabbing me over, in terms of like, he was just pushing my buttons. I got so mad, I threw the tennis racket. So not me at all. We never fought. It was like one of the very few times we did. And I remember at one point he's like, I think you got to go back to your doctor because they need to up your meds. It was like,
I'm glad that you're no longer with Andy. Or were you having your period?
But I was acting crazy. Like, and maybe that's why, maybe I have a governor that I subconsciously, like, maybe it's in me and I don't know it. I don't know. Like, yeah, the competitiveness is with me. And I think it was even that, like, it wasn't that I was losing to him. It was, he was egging me on, like, in terms of my performance.
Yeah.
And I knew I could play better than that. And so I was mad. I don't know. It was a very long time.
Well, do you think that this guy was just fucking with you? And he was kind of gaslighting you? Well, fucking with you is different than gaslighting you, though. Gaslighting you is like willingly try to fuck with you.
Which, my ex gaslighting me?
No, this critiquer, this reviewer.
No, I think he really believed these things.
Yeah.
I think that maybe he's reached a point in his career. I don't know what his childhood go into this. Like, I always I've also heard this is a trauma response as I'm going through stuff and unpacking stuff, that like, I am the one to be like, well, let's just think about why would he behave this way? Right. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, as a kid, maybe he didn't get anything. And so now that he's had some success, there's this inflated sense of almost like protecting finally some sort of worth that he feels. However, that happened right before lunch, and I didn't really know anybody at this event, but I'm pretty chatty. And I was like, I wasn't in tears. I was just in shock. Like, I didn't take it I really didn't. I didn't take it personally, but I was like, is he right? Like, is this terrible? Like, I didn't feel bad about myself. I was like, maybe I shouldn't do it. Like, I don't know. I really respect him. So, 4 other women came up and was like, I had the exact same experience with him.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't know if like he got his heart broken. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if he just hates women. Like, I don't know what it is, but there was a part of that maybe I needed. Just like my mentor saying, you're not a photographer. For me, I need to hear some really kind of hard shit to push me and motivate me. Maybe that's why I'm so hard on myself too. It's like, I don't know, like I'm exploring, like, have I been taught victim mentality, or like, do I hold myself to a really high standard? Like, which also can be a trauma response, but like, I do hold like, I expect a lot from myself. It's not about other people other than like, I just want to take care of other people. But yeah, I expect a lot from myself. And right now I'm letting myself down. Does that make sense? And there's been times in my life that I've done that.
Do you feel like that now? Like you're letting yourself down?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, because you're not feeling well and you're not sleeping well, like, and all these other kind of health issues are kind of.
Yeah, but more just career stuff and the book, and the book, the process of making the book has really triggered some of my hard weaknesses and insecurities. I've never been good with deadline, ever. Like, I'm trying really hard. But, and this can be an ADHD thing, but even like as a kid, I would wait to the last minute and then like hyper focus and put all my energy into whether it was a science fair project or like a performance. And then I went to state and got first. Like, I put it all in when it's go time, but I have a hard time keeping a pace. And that being said, I've been shooting consistently for 14 years. I've been setting up shoots out of my own pocket outside of my clients for 8 years. Like, I have been doing all that. I've been keeping, quotes and content. I've been writing, but like when it came down to all the other shit that I don't like about this book process, it has like exposed or like forced me to face things that I'm disappointed in myself in, and still like figuring out, why can't I do this better?
Do you think that's the gift of this whole process?
No,
No.
I don't.
How so?
So maybe this is driven by ego. The gift is, if anything happens to me, I hope that there's a legacy I'm leaving for my kid.
Yeah.
I hope that, I really do hope, this is not bullshit.
Yeah.
All I care about with the book is not only does it impact people's lives who have it, who really need this book. I'm not like, I'm really not being dramatic. Like, this is a labor of love that really doesn't belong to me. I was lucky enough to have people open up their space to put a dent in trying to make some repair for a really bad direction the world has been going in, that is increasing like significantly in almost every country, especially if it's a developed country who has access to technology. We have, like, collectively in the world, we've never seen such a low suicide rate age. Like, the average age for suicides have gone up exponentially, so globally, for younger and younger children. You have more and more women that are becoming addicts, that are battling depression. Sometimes those go hand in hand. We're seeing an increase in mass shootings. Like, war is revving up. Like, something has got to give. And I do believe that this ability, now we're at AI, it's just like, it's so bad. Everything that's happening is like, I think it's really bad. But like, there are beautiful things about social media, but like, I also think it's very detrimental that like, you can be whoever you want to be. And it's not even maybe it's who you want to be, but it's really like who you think everybody else wants you to be.
Mm-hmm.
That is debilitating.
Mm-hmm.
And this new precedent of like what people are putting out there, like you can like change your face like on your phone so you're prettier or thinner. Like it's just bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all
And
bullshit for sure.
I think it's dangerous.
It's
And
very,
the one thing that I so glad that it took 14 years. I'm very clear about the message, the purpose of the book,
mm-hmm.
the doors I'm going to go after to open or have opened for me so that I can do more of this work. Because
Mm-hmm.
this is what I believe my life's work is. It's not photography. It's just like the photography is like the portal for me to do it. Like, since I was really young, I've been othered, not in a bad way, but like I just never really fit in. I didn't fit in with my family. I didn't fit in with my friends. There was always excuses made for me. Now I know like some of that's neurodivergence, some of it's arty, some of it's life experience that I embraced really young that most kids don't in terms of international travel and whatever. But yeah, there's like this fierceness in me to confront when people react from a place of judgment of somebody else without just pausing for a minute. I have a hard time with that. And also I do it. Like I know I do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was the kid that was friends with everyone. I was the kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was just telling the kids this story. Maybe they're too young to hear it. I don't think so. Like I was in 3rd grade and I got in a fight with the neighborhood bully because he was picking on somebody. And like my instinct was to get in the middle of it. I was I was always like really little and scrappy, but when I say like I was more like I didn't align with like what all the girls were doing in the neighborhood. And he punched me right in the face. Like I remember he hit me so hard that my face went into the window of where I was sitting on the bus. And then we had to go to the principal's office. And then I think I got like in trouble. I think I couldn't go back to school for 2 days. But that was always my thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was friends with everybody. And
You're a
I
people pleaser, right?
mhm.
Um,
And I think there's empathy there.
of course.
There's empathy for growing up for the first half of my childhood, super poor.
Mm-hmm.
And being the only family in our neighborhood, even though we were like very low income, divorced. And then
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't that we just had a single mom. Then her boyfriend moved in. And so there was more chatter in the neighborhood. And we were like, people said things about that. And I was an artist and like people were always saying those things. So yeah, I just never understood, why do you have to be unkind? Like just
Mm-hmm.
because somebody isn't like you. It just didn't make sense to me. So that has been a driver for the book, is like now looking at a catalog over 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun to like go through these photos and just see so much overlap. So
Yeah.
much overlap of inherently what I do believe at the root of all humans, for the most part, at least when we're born, and like environment and experience can impact that. But we really just want to love and be loved. And we
Yes.
want safe places to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is our drivers.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a basic human need, and we try to
Yes.
ignore it. We try to ignore it.
And there's so many studies about it. And
Yeah.
I did reference this with the Mans, is like back in the 80s, there was a lot of studies done in orphanages in China, especially at the height of when there was a restriction on amount of kids, like a lot of baby girls were left out of fear of them being killed otherwise, and or going to jail. And there were so many girls, especially, that there were not enough people to care for them. So like they went without being held, like they like basic need. And many of them had, like in studies, like had really traumatic PTSD and developmental delays. And we also see it at the other end of the spectrum with elderly. Like the elderly, our senior community, like age 70 and up, let's just forget about like all the other impacts in terms of like, do you reach this place of like comfort and confidence that you live the life you're supposed to live, or do you have regret? And like that can impact. But at the end of the day, those that don't have community or family around them, they die quicker. They are depressed. They lose all interest in living, even if their body is moving, because even at the end, we need to love and be loved.
So I hear you saying that this book is a vehement and like visceral push to acknowledge that need to be seen and to be loved, and to acknowledge the power of family and different like the tapestry of what that looks like and how we experience it. But I also hear you saying that, and your body is telling us this, and what you're going through, that this has also been a pretty traumatic experience, going through making of the book. And then I also hear in I'm guessing, I'm just trying to provoke you a little bit, I'm guessing in making this book, there's a part of you that has detached from your work in making it.
I've had to in the editing process. That's been hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not exactly the book I wanted.
Yeah.
I had to concede to some of that, which is, I'm so exhausted. I was like, I can't find any more, like for particular things. I'm pretty open. Like there's some stuff that like that have been going on the last year that I have kept to my chest, which is unlike me, including my health stuff. But it does not go unnoticed that I ended my relationship with my mother throughout in the last year because of addiction, and not because I don't love her, but because I do. And I kept getting triggered with someone who's not ready, maybe never, to get help, who had already, because of her own childhood trauma, like that impacted me as a kid. And that was all coming up. I think both working on the book and being very clear about what I wanted to say, that activated feelings of loss, feelings of wanting to connect with my mom before it's too late. And then like succumbing to the idea that it's probably not going to happen. And then having to prioritize my mental health and showing up for my chosen family now, specifically Birdie. And I wasn't able to do that. And something had to give, and I had to let it go. So it's not lost on me, the irony that I'm putting out this book celebrating and honoring life in its messiness and its beautifulness, centered in family. And my family is completely fractured.
Well, I would push back against that, Kirsten. Like, you've chosen a family that you have nurtured and you've been working really hard on, and you have you've stepped away from the people who haven't fostered that. So I think rather than saying ironically, it sounds like it's correspondingly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like a lot of like, I don't know how much, like, I just learned about this modality, maybe shortly after I met Mitch, I guess, that, parts work. Do you know about that? And, yeah, my little girl is like, she's hurting really bad. And yeah, I've been trying to do a lot of work. I have hope that maybe I can heal her, but it's a lot of work. Like, I'm realizing I'm a lot of work right now. And part of the shift was when I was little, I almost remember the exact moment when it happened, but I had heard so much in my younger childhood, both directly to me and then adults talking about me, that I was too much, that I was too sensitive, I was too emotional. At one point they said I was causing my mother a mental breakdown. I remember that. That was when I was about 13. And it was shortly after that that something happened in me. I almost remember exactly where I was. And I'm like this, like if I make a commitment to do something, I'm very good at quitting things. Like I was a big smoker and then I was like, Mom, I'm not gonna smoke anymore. And I just never did.
Mhm.
I quit feeling,
Yeah.
or I quit showing my feelings.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I just started confronting that about 3 years ago. And so that's
Mhm.
really to do that.
Yeah. It's really freaking hard.
So you go like, I think I was like 13 or 14. So at least 30 years of any feeling I had, I would suppress it,
Yeah.
make jokes about it or whatever, and I could just move forward. And I was described as like, I've always been described, oh, you're so strong, you're so resilient. No,
Yeah, I get
actually,
that too.
quite the opposite. I'm broken and
Yeah.
not capable.
Yeah.
Um, but
I'm
it's a,
detached. I have dissociative disorder.
it's a
It's-
survival skill. Like,
yeah.
and when you decide to like dig into that, it all comes out
Mm.
at once. And it
Mhm.
is, and for sure, I'm like having to feel pain I hadn't felt. So like moments in my life that were traumatic, like living it now is way more painful than it was in the actual moments when it happened, because I
Yeah.
refused, I like ignored, yeah, honoring those feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think you're doing that with the book then as well?
No, I'm feeling everything. Yeah.
Good. Because art is therapy,
Mhm. Yeah.
right?
I'm curious to see what happens at the other end of this.
Yeah.
I
So
also have scarcity mindset.
Mhm.
I grew up really poor for the first half of my childhood, and that was ingrained in me, like by my mother. You will survive. You don't ask anybody for help. You will find ways. And I
Beggars
guess
can't be choosers. Yeah.
I worked since I was 15. I've always had almost a full-time job.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of times multiple jobs, all through university, whatever. And yeah, this book is really fucking expensive. Like
Mhm.
just the book itself. I just got a bill where in my mind I thought it was, I owed so much. And then
Mhm.
he just gave me a number that's 20 over what I owe. And I owe it by the in 3 weeks, and I'm want to vomit.
Yeah.
So all of that is coming to a crux. I'm worried about, like, there were some people that I had photographed, like friends or family or whatever, that weren't for the book. I didn't have a contract, but I picked photos to put in. And then I was panicking. Oh my God, I haven't gotten approval from them yet. And I've been so afraid. I just got, I think the last approval, everyone said yes. I was like, thank God. Um, I was really scared. There was like a few photos I loved, and I was like, they're a little bit more reserved in what they share, and they're gonna be mad at me or whatever. But now I can, I want to show you. This one was the one I was most afraid of, and that he was gonna say no. And
Yeah.
I'm so I was so happy. I was in tears when he said yes. It was my favorite quote of last year. Actually, one of my favorite dad quotes of all time. It might actually in, is it in here, or it might be in the PDF and it wasn't in here yet. Fuck, I don't think I have it. Anyways, it's a dad. I could send you the PDF. You can see the final layout. I don't think I have it in here. Dad, 63, with a 1 and a 2-year-old, first time dad. So it's not like he has grown children and then met someone, like the typical story.
Yeah.
It's like the sweetest story. And well, you know what? Can I share my screen? I could just show you.
Yeah, yeah. So anybody on YouTube, you can I would encourage you to come and watch this rather than
I'll
just
just show you the one photo, this one photo. I love him. He's one of my favorite people I met. And he
uh-huh.
like really, he like forced me to like check bias also, because I
Yeah.
had assumptions before I met him, which is an assholey thing. And I'm still working on being better at not doing that, and immediately being like, that was an asshole thing. But I was like, dude, like once we get to know each other, I'd said to him, I was like, I do not know how you do this. Like, how are you doing this? Because I am exhausted, like beyond exhausted. Let me make sure I can pull up the, and I have an 8-year-old, 2 8-year-olds and a 12-year-old. So they're older, like they're a little bit more, they're much more autonomous. And I'm 47 and I can barely get through the day. And you are, I want to make sure, because the quote is in here too. I think he's 63. Let me see. Because what he said to me was just one of the most amazing things I've ever heard. I immediately got my phone. I immediately got my phone and wrote down what he said because it was so awesome. I'm like having trouble finding my final PDF, which has the quote, because I don't want to screw it up. Oh, proof. Here it is. Nope, that's not it. Here, I'll just show you the photo.
Okay.
And I know what the quote is. Desktop. Okay. Oopsie. God, I'm a mess. Nope. Nope. Okay. You see that photo?
Yes.
1 and a 2-year-old.
Oh my God.
He says to me, and to be honest, I was just really psyched to be getting laid. I was not thinking about the kid thing. Oh, there it is. No,
I was just really excited.
I was just really excited to be getting laid. I didn't think about the kids part. Sterling, 57, first-time dad of 1 and 2-year-olds. Amazing, isn't it? It's like it's like one of my favorite parts of the book.
Yes.
It's so honest and real. It's so like amazing and like, yeah, vulnerable and transparent and like raw, and
it's what we
he's
need.
the best dad. And yeah, and he's 57. Like he's tired. We're tired. Like you hit 40, you're more tired every day.
How old is his partner?
I think they're 20 years difference.
Okay.
I think she's amazing too. I love them. I love this whole family. It was like one of my favorite shoots of the year. It was utter chaos the entire time.
Yes.
Because it was 2 sisters, their partners, and their kids. And it's 3 kids under the age of 3 with so much energy. Like it was just nonstop all day. Like one of them was a runner. So like you had to watch her at all times, or she was like, always getting into stuff. Like I have photos of her with her hand running across a blade in the food processor. Like she like was amazing. Like it was amazing. And then we've got Sterling, who's like, just trying to keep up. Like it was wonderful. Yeah.
You were just holding the book in your hands. How does that feel?
Well, this is just a dummy. This is not,
but you guys feel something. Speaking of,
I have 4 iterations of dummies throughout the last 2 years since I signed with my publisher. And it's just been quite an experience. For me, the dummies are helpful because I can at least put some sort of idea on paper that I can thumb through and be like, no, I don't like it. I don't want it, that photo that big, or I don't want it at all now, or the type looks too big. Or if I hadn't done this, I wouldn't have decided to do a portrait book either. I would have done square or landscape.
Yeah.
And size wise, we tried bigger, we tried smaller. Before settling on this.
So how can we make this happen for you, Kirsten?
I don't know. Pray to all those gods that like.
How can people buy it from you?
Well, I think this will come out after Kickstarter's over, but that's fine because that's when the real hustle. Like this is, again, remember I said like the only person in the race with me is me. Like that's how I feel. And I do have a dream I have it's a ridiculous dream, but it's mine. And
What is,
I'm going to do everything I can to make it happen.
which is the
A
book?
photo,
Your dream is the book.
my dream is a photo book has never made it to a New York Times bestseller list.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
And because of the nature of the book and the really exciting additional stuff that comes with it, that from what I've done, all my research, my understanding is there is really no other book at all that has this component. And I do think it's going to change. It does have the potential to actually change everything in terms of how we consume art books, go to galleries. We'll see. Like, I can't share a whole lot right now. Just because there's like some trademark stuff that we're working on. But yeah, you have to sell 5,000 copies in the first week to be considered. And it doesn't guarantee you, but you'll be considered. And it'd be kind of amazing that, yeah, it's not about me being a bestseller. It would be like, that's a lot of eyes on the book to get it in as many hands as possible. Because the other thing is I don't make a dime on the book. So just about getting it in people's hands. So any pre-sales on Amazon or on my publisher's site, those count towards the first week. So I am hustling. I think even my Kickstarter does too. I have to double check. I'm pretty sure my Kickstarter does as well. But yeah, if I can get 5,000 in the first week, there's potential there.
Do you have any numbers yet that you want to share?
In terms of what I've sold?
Yeah.
So on Kickstarter, I'm at 181 or 184. I have pretty much 5. It says 4 days, but I have 5 until the end of Tuesday. So for the next 5 days, I'm hitting ads really hard because that's the way that I can get it out in front of another audience that's not my immediate audience. And I'm going to do the most uncomfortable thing I've ever done, which is send out a newsletter / email every day moving forward. Like posting about it, very transparent and honest online and whatever. Like, listen, I just posted a video of me with pliers up my nose. So I really
if that doesn't work, nothing will.
Yeah, well, I don't have much self-respect. Like, whatever. Like, I'm realizing as you get older, that is really overrated. Like,
oh, it really is. It's very boring.
Self-respect and dignity. You don't, what the fuck? Why do you need those? Like, whatever. One day you're gonna be dead. No one's gonna remember. So, yeah, so I'm gonna push hard. I hate it. But I do think I have a chance. Like, I have some very creative ideas for the next 4 months. I'm basically gonna try and get on any and all podcasts that have anything to do with family, psychology, education, entrepreneurship. Yeah, even like coming through trauma and like using it, all that, any and all podcasts. Like, if they have a decent listenership, I want to get on. I'm really trying hard to get in touch with Drew Barrymore, if anybody out there. I have one little connection because my idea is I would like to photograph her and her family. She's a single mom. She loves documentary family work. I know because she loves Katie Parker. And I have an idea to see if she'd be open to me coming and photographing her and the kids. And then the week that the book comes out, have me on the show and we talk about this and like these themes and like, you know, why it's important that we stop for a minute before we're super judgmental and see like there's so much overlap with just trying to fucking survive raising kids and survive being a kid, right?
Have you tried Oprah?
I haven't tried. Oh, I mean, Oprah. What the? I guess I should. Why not?
You should. Why not?
Yeah. I'm also this one's gonna be, well, I already have some feelers out for Drew, but Glennon Doyle. I just re-listened. A lot of people tagged me, but like in 2023, they had a whole segment on family photography.
Mhm.
And they were like, I really just I want these photos. Why don't I do these photos? And she was talking about documentary family. So I have an idea to also approach them and be like, hey, just re-listen to this. I think this is a no-brainer. Why don't I come and photograph you guys? And when, you know, we do a podcast, then when the week that the book is gearing up to release or whatever, you could do the podcast. So I've got some bigger ideas. Like,
Mm.
I don't have a problem with that kind of stuff. It's just the asking for money thing I really hate.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
not
this is teaching you.
maybe. I love how you're like, nope, there's gonna be a lesson in here somewhere. Like, you're not going through all this for nothing.
You're not. We never
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I
Right?
know. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in my mind right now, like it's like pushing me to confront hard things. And like I just have this like really strong need or desire to leave some sort of legacy for Birdie.
Yeah.
Just in the event something were to happen to me. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what part of that is for you?
I don't know, I'll be dead, right? So it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing that I'm trying to push you towards, Kirsten,
Yeah.
is acknowledging that some of this is for you, and that's okay. And actually that is what this is about. Like feeling, I can't think of a good metaphor, but that detachment from emotion, and you working so incredibly fucking hard on this thing to do it for someone else. I honestly think that's why this is fucking with you, is because you're not acknowledging that this is for you. And when you do something for you, it helps everyone else. It's like, this is something that really hurts people who, like, I'm married to one, a people pleaser. Like, it fucking wrecks you if you don't acknowledge that it's okay for you to serve yourself first. Because when you serve yourself, it serves everybody else.
I think that I will be able to lean into that after I get over this hump.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, everything's just so hard. Yeah, and scary and exhausting. And I like in my mind, I'm like, I just want to get through it. Like, I just want to get through it. And then once I do, I think once I'm holding the book in my hand, things will shift.
Mm-hmm.
I do. And I have no problem saying my goal in terms of my career is that this book opens up doors. Like, that is why I've gone through fucking hell and back is that I want it to open doors for me. So,
well, let us help you.
Okay.
Let us help you. Fling the doors open.
Yeah, thank you.
Unsupervised. After, when the Kickstarter's done, how can people get it?
So I think you'll be able to pre-order it on Amazon. It might be on there. I don't know. Oh, it doesn't matter because the Kickstarter will be over. I think it is already on Amazon. I think you can even pre-order it. Let me look.
Well, we can do that.
I didn't even know this. Somebody searched my name and sent it. And they were like, you know, you're on Amazon already. And I was like, nope, I didn't know that. Let me see. Yep. I can share my screen. And I'm pretty sure it is kind of trippy to see this. Like this part.
Oh my God, it's only $50. People, get it. Search Kirsten Lewis Unsupervised on Amazon. Get your copy.
Price is stable. Oh, there's my release date. I didn't even know it. Tuesday, June 3rd. So now I know, like, I gotta find. I was like, Mitch, should I do a like a release party? And he was like, no. And I was like, that's the wrong answer. Like,
that is
no.
the wrong
answer.
Mm-hmm. You should definitely do a release party. You are doing a release party.
I was hoping originally that I would be having a gallery show, but that I just don't have it in me. Like, the gallery show is gonna take me a good at least 6 months to prepare with the ideas that I have. So we'll do that in the fall or whatever. Just do this one thing and get it out there first.
Awesome. Well,
thank you. And hopefully I do hope that I'm able to do a little book tour. And I do want to come to Canada, but your little town is tiny, isn't it?
My little town is very tiny.
Yeah. I mean, I could still come there.
You would have a place to stay.
Would there be like 8 people that would come to my little,
I think I could rally a few more than 8.
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
Okay.
And they will just be like AI clones of me. No, just kidding.
Birdie's so cute. She goes, I'm going to talk to the librarian to see if we can get your book in the school library. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. Just because there's like, I don't think they'll let it. Like, there's naked kids in there. There's some swearing in there. Like, I think it's kid friendly, and I'm not sure, like, parents might shit if it's in the library. I don't know.
All right, come off screen share and so I can say goodbye. I love you for doing this. And
oh no, I love you for doing this.
I can't wait to hold it in my hands.
I keep hearing that. It makes me excited that people are like, I can't wait to see. And it's funny, as you say that, it stirs up nerves in my stomach, because there's still that fear that, like, what if it flops? What if people don't like it? Like, what if it's a disappointment to people? Like, yeah, it's weird. Like, when I launched the Kickstarter, I didn't want to talk to anybody. Yeah. And Mitch was like, I'm going to photograph you while you hit launch. Please, like, let me do that. And I launched it and didn't tell him. And I closed the computer and I wouldn't look at the Kickstarter for 3 days. Oh, wow. I had a really weird, I've had a weird relationship with putting it out there, because it is the ultimate fear of failure. Yeah. And that isn't about me. That is actually about, well, it's my own ego and like trauma and whatever, but the fear of disappointing other people, that I've dedicated so much time, so much money, so much energy and love, that if it fails, well, that was for nothing. You know what I mean?
It won't fail.
So thanks.
Just coming in early February is my group mentorship program, Storyteller's School 2025. I am looking for 6 enthusiastic, documentary interested photographers. You don't have to be a documentary photographer. You just have to be interested in including some of those skills in your arsenal. This is for people who are looking to shake things up in their work, people who want to break up with perfection, people who want to truly discover what it is that they bring to the world and how to mold that into a brand, an outstanding brand that people will identify with and really want to hire you for you being you. Trying to help all of you embrace who you are, because who you are is a gift to this world. You are the way you are because somebody needs you. Lots of people need you, and you can do that through your art. And that's what Storyteller School is all about, is helping you find out what makes you you, what has created your innate perspective, and how to build an outstanding brand, how to build a sustainable business, and how to market that so that your clients can find you. So we talk a ton about marketing. We talk a ton about your portfolio. We improve your photography skills. We rebuild your website from the ground up, and we start that. We build the foundation of that based on who you are. We figure out what makes you tick, why you tick, and how that's going to help other people. So if you are remotely intrigued with that, you can click the link in the show notes, and that will help you book a little chat with me, and we can talk about whether or not Storyteller School is right for you. You've been listening to the Tilt and Shift Photography Business Podcast. I hope this conversation or these coaching tips have brought you a little tilt, maybe a little shift in your mindset, in how you look at your business, in how you think about your art, and how you show up in your life. Thank you for being here today, and we will talk at our next episode.